in light of a lot of discussions that have been ongoing, I think the one that triggered it for me this morning was discussions about upcoming contracts with teachers, and the Ontario teachers, and what's going to happen when their contracts are up for renewal, and is the government going to try and screw them around again. It got me thinking about all the money that we waste on things that we don't need, and it's taxpayer money that's going down the drain. The biggest thing I can think of right off the bat that would solve a ton of problems is the whole scandal with the new fighter jets, the F-35s, I think they are, projected to be $30 billion that Canada's going to spend. They say it's the largest amount of money, the largest single procurement in the history of Canada. And I think a lot of people like myself will question the need for these fighter jets. We are not a large military power. Our Air Force, Navy are basically a joke. I mean, we've got, 3 boats or something? Like, really, it's kind of ridiculous that we're procuring this type of expenditure or incurring this type of expenditure on some jets, some fighter jets. We don't need them. Canada does not need them. We're right next door to the United States. Our agreements with the states since way back to like the Second World War have always kind of been that we would, we forego some of our own defense and advancement in defense, like way back then, according to the agreement, basically relying on the states, and that's fine. I mean, there's a lot of countries that are more neutral, and I mean, we're not known to be a superpower or somebody that goes out and brings huge military force to the party. So why are we spending this proportionally huge amount of money from our budget on something that we don't need and that really is going to be no real advantage to us? It's not like that's going to allow us to now be the world's dominant air force. Let's let, the United States has an incredible air force. Let them deal with it when an air force is required. I'm not saying you couldn't have a few jets, but the decision on this particular jet, it's riddled with fallacies and whatnot, the whole single engine problem, and nobody can agree. People don't think it's a good jet to buy. We could have just fitted some of our existing jets. Sure, the country needs a few for interdiction of and protection of our coastal waters and things like that. But as far as actually military might and going to war with them, that's not our bag. Canada has a reputation, we always have, for very good soldiers, well-trained, excellent troops, especially elite troops, special forces. We should get back into that, axe this type of ridiculous spending on these jets. You could take a fraction of that, take 10%, take $3 billion and renovate, equip, and build the world's greatest elite fighting force of special forces, fantastic. A fraction of it, we become, we have a niche where we're known to be the best, and, give the men everything they need to do their mission, to be the best that they can be, as the military likes to say. The best armaments, the best protections for them, everything that they require that way. And then you save $27 billion on that one expenditure alone, never mind all the other ones you could axe. And then what could you do with that money? You could invest it into education to make us a world leader, get our children educated properly without, kids can't go to school now because university costs way too much money. Let's get some forward thinking going. Education should be a right. It should be free. And that's investing in our future, in our youth. And let's not argue over minute costs of healthcare and education. When I say minute, in comparison to these type of ridiculous expenditures, $30 billion on a few fighter jets, not even very good ones, that we don't need, don't really, the populace I don't think really wants. If you did a poll today, Can we spend $30 billion on a few fighter jets, or can we take the $30 billion and let your children have a paid-for education for university or trades or whatnot, and it's going to allow you to get better jobs and have a better economy and be better on the world scene? I don't think there's any question that the bulk of the population is going to go with that. Or to roll it into health. There's a lot of money there. You could roll that into healthcare too. You could roll that into better wages instead of trying to axe all of these jobs. You could pay your teachers fairly. You could pay your nurses and not be cutting cuts in the hospitals all the time. We don't need $30 billion worth of fighter jets. We need educated kids. We need a strong future. We need to invest in our infrastructure. Priorities are just backwards with the government. And that's my take on it. What do you guys think? This is just one project, $30 billion. I think it could have been much better spent. And I think Harper and the government and any government that's in power that's looking at this should not be spending that money. Am I right? Am I wrong? Where do you see Canada's role? Should we take the money on... Do you agree with me? Do you think the fighter jets, we shouldn't have bought them and we should have rolled them into our country, into education, healthcare, the infrastructure, all that type of thing? Let me know. Leave some comments below. We can discuss it. And thanks. We'll be back soon.